We're the software that figures out who is the best person from some large company out there like an IBM and or Cisco, who's the most appropriate salesperson to talk to you to give you a good buying experience.
Do you want to impact the world and still turn a profit? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Growth Everywhere. This is the show where you'll find real conversations with real entrepreneurs. They'll share everything from their biggest struggle to the exact strategies they use on a daily basis. So if you're ready for a value-packed interview, listen on. Here's your host, Eric Siu.
Before we jump into today's interview, if you guys could leave a review and a rating and also subscribe as well, that would be a huge help to the podcast. So if you actually enjoy the content and you'd like to hear more of it, please support us by leaving us a review and subscribe to the podcast as well. Thanks so much. Okay, everyone. Today we have Evan Liang, who is the CEO of LeanData, which is software that helps you visually manage leads and drive your sales process forward. Evan, how's it going?
It's great.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here first and foremost. I'm curious just about you kind of personally. What is your background? What is your story?
Sure thing. So yeah, I actually started on in my career actually in a different way. I started on the other side of the table. I was actually a VC straight out of college. So I actually worked at a firm called Battery Ventures, got that experience really early on, and found my passion for entrepreneur actually being a VC during the dot-com bust, turning around companies. So we were parachuting to companies and helping them, and I just found out, what I actually like getting my hands dirty managing businesses and really set my career along that trajectory from there. So I've worked at some bigger companies like Microsoft and eBay. Previous to starting LeanData, I was a VP and general manager at Caring.com. And it was at Caring where I ran into some sales and marketing challenges really around data inside the CRM and saw the pain points firsthand that led me to start LeanData.
Got it. That's so interesting. Where'd you go? Stanford?
I went to Stanford undergrad, yes.
That's so funny. Okay. So you go to Stanford, and how does one go to college and straight out just become a VC?
It's about timing. I graduated in 2000. It was during the bubble years. I was looking at investment banking consulting, and I had offers, and a VC shop came on site, and I was like, hey, let's skip the investment banking, go straight into VC, because I knew I wanted to be part of tech entrepreneurship longer term.
Love it. Okay. Great. So, LeanData, tell us a little more kind of in layman's terms. I kind of gave a one-liner earlier, but how does it help companies? Talk to me like I'm a fifth grader.
Sure thing. The easiest way I tell the people who don't know anything about the space is basically imagine someone comes to a website, right? Fills out, hey, I want to talk to someone at the company. We're the software that figures out who is the best person from some large company out there like an IBM and or Cisco, who's the most appropriate salesperson to talk to you to give you a good buying experience. So for B2C companies, this is fairly straightforward. For B2B companies, it's quite complex. It depends on, are you an existing customer? What type of customer are you? What industry are you? What vertical, what region, what product are you interested? And so that complexity there becomes hard for larger B2B companies to manage. And we're the software that does all the data matching, but also the workflows to deliver that experience.
Got it. Okay. So let's say, for us, B2B SaaS marketing agency as an example, right? I'm assuming if we're using you guys, then it'll tell us who's visiting, and I might have this completely wrong, but who's visiting and who the right person is to reach out to, right?
Yeah, so it's more like it comes in, someone comes in, they're browsing your website, they're looking at a white paper, right?
Right.
And they've downloaded it, but what if it's an existing customer? If it's an existing customer, you want your account management, your customer success team to talk to them, right? Versus a junior sales rep who might try to sell them a product they already have. So that's a product. The problem just happens all the time, and it shouldn't. And we help companies make sure those types of experiences don't happen, and they deliver the right experience.
Oh, that's great. This is like a live sales call right now. Maybe it's time to buy it. So how do you guys make money first and foremost, and we'll go a little deeper.
Sure. We're a SaaS subscription product. So we basically charge an annual subscription based on number of sales reps and users that we're helping.
Got it. Okay. And then you said, we talked a lot about the numbers a little earlier, but I guess you have 350 enterprise customers right now?
That's correct.
And how much is the kind of average monthly revenue per customer?
Yeah, so today it's probably in the 20 to 30,000 range as we are very focused on the mid-market. But like a lot of companies, we're going up market. So we definitely have six-figure clients who are managing thousands and thousands of reps on our system.
Got it. Okay. And I'm assuming it's just you're charging, is it on a per seat basis?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. And just before you talked about kind of the run rate for the company, I mean, or not the run rate, but the ARR, how are you guys sitting right now?
Yeah, we're still a little bit under 10 million in ARR, but we're definitely our goals next year is to double down and getting closer to the 15 to 20 million range.
Fantastic. So I was doing a little research earlier, and I'll come back to what you just talked about. But lead routing, and it talks about you guys' massive, I guess the stack that you guys integrate with. So we got Built With, we got Data Nice, Yesware, Outreach, Sales Loft, all these different tools. So how are you using all of that together? Is it just how are you plugging that all in?
Yeah, so it's really just trying to give a full stack, enabling. We want to eat as much dog food as possible, and enabling our sales team to be productive. Obviously, one of the things that we're really passionate about, because our tool helps people be more sales more productive, is making sure that we're enabling our internal reps to do that as well. So we have tried to stitch together a tech stack for them that integrates all those pieces so that they can deliver a good experience when our buyers come knocking on our door.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. So I guess maybe it's easier for people to visualize like a story or like a case study where you guys really kicked ass for somebody. So is there anything you can speak to?
Yeah. So I'd say a great story would be like a Cloudera. Cloudera has it's a very fast growing company. Unicorn recently went public, and they had massive lead volume. So their problem was their sales reps were getting too many leads, and they were wasting a lot of time following up on companies that were just never going to buy from them. And so what LeanData does is we really were helping them become more account based, which is a popular term these days. And we do that by making sure that when those leads come in, we do a whole bunch of matching and contextualization to determine should an SDR rep follow up with them. So what we found of the 100 leads that they used to get, actually only 35 of them were relevant. What's in the other 65? And the other 65 are customer leads that they shouldn't be following up with, partner leads, leads that weren't in their target accounts, leads that were test leads, or leads from the same company that should go to the same rep. And so by taking the 100 leads that they were supposed to spend 5 to 7 minutes on each one to determine they follow up, and only giving them 35 leads, we increased their productivity massively so that they could spend their time focused on sales activities with the right prospects and close more deals.
Got it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, I mean, for us, I mean, we, right now we're using one tool that tells us kind of who's visiting on the website. I mean, we're getting, I guess this is the exact struggle that you guys address. It's, when we see people opting into our email list, it's, Shell, Gasoline, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, and all these, right? But the tool we have right now, it does not tell us kind of who we should be reaching out to. So you guys are closing the loop there, right? Just so I'm triple checking to make sure that I'm not too dumb.
No, a little bit different. It's you already know in the accounts in your system, right? When Audi or Shell comes to you, right, and you're about to reach out to them, we're doing a lot of the manual work to figure out whether or not, hey, it's an existing customer. So you might have one person reach out to an existing customer that's different from if it's a brand new prospect, and or if someone else is already talking to Audi. Let's make sure it goes to the same rep that's already doing that. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yep, makes total sense now. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah. So it's more of the prior. It's not we're telling you who else you should be reaching out from an outbound perspective. It's more of coordinating to make sure the right person and not the wrong person from your organization is talking to that prospect who has the right context to help them.
Right, makes total sense. Okay, great. So, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of the stuff you guys did in the beginning to acquire customers, a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So what are you guys doing that's really effective for you guys in terms of customer acquisition today?
Yeah, so for us, really, it's around the customers that use us and know us, love us. So we have a huge high net promoter score. Customers really like it. And so for us, the channels where we can bring our passionate promoters in contact with our prospects work really, really well. So for us, it is hand-to-hand like events, big-time events. We host our own event called OpStars at Dreamforce. And so we want to bring industry thought leaders together, promote. We sell to sales ops. And so those guys, if we can get those guys into a room with our customers, they sell for us.
How do you track the ROI of events? And I'm sure you get this question a lot.
Yeah, we track it based on pipeline and attribution. We look at which deals were influenced or sourced by those events and help move those along. Sourcing is obviously really easy, but influence is hey, look, that deal probably wouldn't have closed if we didn't get that person in touch with from Lars at Cloudera, for example. He helped us move that deal along and convince them to buy now.
So before we go any further, I just wanted to tell you about a problem that entrepreneurs have been coming to me with. They don't know what they need to do next to grow their business, or they don't have the right resources to execute on marketing needs. Oftentimes, they don't have a marketing strategy, or they don't know who or what to hire for. If this sounds like something that you've been dealing with, I have a solution for you. Single Grain is a growth marketing agency ran by yours truly that has worked with venture-backed startups to Fortune 500 companies to help solve their marketing issues. Our strong points are in SEO and paid advertising, and if you need help in other areas, we're always happy to tap into our network of highly vetted vendors that we can even help manage for you. So there's no need to stress yourself out trying to find the right people for the job because we've got you covered. So if you're interested in this, just go to growtheverywhere.com/help to get more information. Once again, that's growtheverywhere.com/help. Got it. Okay. I want to back up a second and go back, I guess, maybe back in time a little bit. So your background at Stanford, were you an engineer or?
Yeah, I was an industrial engineer.
Got it. Okay, great. And then so you going to caring.com, the story I read was that you made the business kind of what it is today. And I guess you can maybe speak to what caring.com is and maybe the story around the turnaround.
Sure thing. So caring.com is the leading destination site for the elder care space, founded by a bunch of folks who had started Baby Center. So it was a content and community site all around focused around elder care. I was part of the team at a VC firm called Shasta Ventures that had invested in them. So I had made the investment in the company and got to know them. They ended up buying a small site called Gilbert Guide, and think of them as like the Yelp for senior care. So they were a directory business. And I came in to help run that division and help grow that. It wasn't so much that the company was an existing company, but ended up the content community site didn't grow as much. There's just not as much virality with the content and topics in the elder care space. You don't tell when you get pregnant and have a baby or get married, you want to tell everyone about it, right? You're taking care of your elderly mom. It's not something you scream out on social media. It doesn't quite have that virality. And so for me, I built the directory business, and the company ended up pivoting, and that became their main business.
Got it. Okay. I guess kind of the CRM struggles you had over there, the sales struggles you had led to what you're doing today, right?
Absolutely. So basically, I had an inside sales team at caring.com on the directory business reporting into me. They were on Salesforce. We wanted to increase their productivity, so we bought marketing automation to help nurture the needs. And as we were integrating those systems, I would just say the data was a complete shit show. And I had to clean that up, figure it out in order to drive my business. And that was kind of the pain point that I realized that, gosh, a lot of other companies are going to struggle with this as marketing automation or other systems integrate into your CRM. And if you don't manage the data correctly, none of this is going to work. And so that was the initial pain point that I identified. And from there, the products evolved based on kind of understanding where do our customers really need to use the data more strategically. And so that's how we were the first to find lead to account matching. And we've been the best at solving that problem.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is, you got to scratch your own itch sometimes, and that's sometimes where the best solutions come from, right?
Absolutely. And I think sometimes it's a problem that's been around for a long time, but because I was a former product manager, I looked at it and was like, hey, I know there's a better solution, and it sounds like a small pain point today, but if we address that, I bet you we can unlock a lot of value and productivity that sits on top of that. And that's the way it's played out.
Love it. Okay. So what's one big struggle you faced while growing LeanData?
Yeah, I think it's knowing when to scale and when to go fast and when to go slow. I think I've made both mistakes. So if you hit the pedal to the metal too early and hire too many sales reps in particular, when you quite haven't figured out your messaging, your go-to-market, your product market fit, you're going to end up spending a lot of money and kind of imperiling your business and maybe having to do layoffs, and that's extremely painful. The flip side is if you go too slow, you may be leaving money on the table. So I don't know if anyone who ever gets that right. Everyone, even the fast-growing unicorns, sometimes are just throwing money at it. So
yeah. Well, it sounds like it's a fine balance, but maybe perhaps you've built out some kind of process or workflow to prevent you from, going too overboard or too slow.
A little bit. Our technology certainly helps us a little bit, but most of going fast and too slow is hiring and bringing people on board.
Got it. Is there any specific example you can share where it's like, man, I moved too quickly and then, this cost us like 6 or 7 figures?
Yeah, over 2 years ago, we were gearing up for a fundraise, hired a bunch of sales reps. We hadn't quite figured out the motion for each rep. They weren't quite hitting quota at that point in time. And we hired a bunch of reps because, hey, we want to look like we're bigger. Missed our numbers, and I had to do layoffs, and that sucked. And so we went back, figured out our sales process correctly, and then literally quadrupled productivity quarter over quarter. But that was painful, right?
Okay. So you guys didn't have a fully dialed in sales process, and you just added a bunch of people, and then that just kind of compounded on itself, and then boom, numbers don't hit, and a bunch of people, 50, 60% of staff, or?
Yeah, 50% of the sales team. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Well, working towards wrapping up here, I'm curious. You sound like a really efficient person just by the way you respond. So I'm curious, how do you structure your day?
I think the first thing, compared to a lot of CEOs, I make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. So I do get a full night's sleep so I can wake up in the morning, come in, get here early around 8-ish, and, make sure that I have an inbox zero, make sure that I've responded to everything and all the major issues, and then go through and schedule meetings, but make sure that I take breaks. And my goal as CEO is to make sure that I'm not blocking anyone else. So most of my day-to-day is making sure that my team or anyone in the company has what they need to meet so that they can do their jobs properly. Love it.
Okay. What is one new tool that you've added in the last year that's added a lot of value? So a lot of people have been saying, oh, this Peloton bike is awesome, or, Evernote's great.
I'll pick one that was added more than a year ago just because I like the way they solved the problem. So
sure.
It was eShares or Carta that they're now called, and they just make managing employee options a lot easier. It's a problem that's been around forever. I just like the fact that it's such a stupid manual process that like paralegals used to do. The lawyers don't even like charging you for it, and they automated and made it much more simple.
Wow, never heard of it. Okay, cool. How does that work? How do they charge for that?
They charge per shareholder. But it's a cheap monthly subscription fee. And if you think about it, my lawyers used to FedEx me options like the packages of all the documentation that you would sign by paper and FedEx back to them. Right? That's how it used to be done. The first time I got that, I was like, there has got to be a better solution for this.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. I just got a lot of value from that eShares. Okay. What is one must-read book you'd recommend to everyone?
Especially for early entrepreneurs, I really liked Founder's Dilemma, just because I believe in starting a business, it's all about trade-offs. There's not right or wrong answers. It's about the trade-offs you need to make. And that book really highlights all the trade-offs you start making at the beginning of starting your entrepreneur journey, all the way to should you take VC money? Should you not? Should you start the business? Should you not? Do I need co-founders, et cetera? And they give you data that they've compiled. But I like people to think about that as not that don't copy the way I've done it, but think about what is right for your journey and where you are at the stage of life.
Great. And related to that note, is there any blog or podcast that you tune into on a daily or weekly basis?
Probably. I follow, because I'm in the SaaS space, I obviously follow Jason Lemkin on Twitter. I like some of the notes he writes, and then I'll read Fred Wilson's blog as he has sometimes really some insightful stuff on what's going on in the tech industry.
Wonderful. Well, Evan, this has been great. What's the best way for people to find you online?
Definitely. So without a doubt, my website or my Twitter handle at Evan Liang, at Evan Liang. Sorry, but at EvanLiang. So.
Got it. Wonderful. Well, Evan, thanks again.
Thanks, Eric. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Growth Everywhere. If you loved what you heard, be sure to head back to growtheverywhere.com for today's show notes and a ton of additional resources. But before you go, hit the subscribe button to avoid missing out on next week's value-packed interview. Enjoy the rest of your week, and remember to take action and continue growing.